All right, everybody, it's Miss Moran, and if you've made it this far, you've made it to my last instructional video of the 4th grade year. We're going to be working with elapsed time and money. So time and money in 1st and 2nd grade was counting coins and learning how to look at a clock. In 4th grade, we're going to be using that in certain ways, involving addition, subtraction, things like that. So we're going to be looking at elapsed time, how much time passes from the start of an activity to the ending of an activity. And there's 3 different types of questions we're going to work with, which is going to be finding the ending time, finding the starting time, or finding the elapsed time. So we're going to start with finding the ending time. So this is the easiest type of problem we're going to work with. So if the movie starts at 9:45 a.m. and it's going to last for 2 hours and 25 minutes, there's 2 different strategies for this. One is going to be counting on chunks of time, and another one is going to be to just try to add it with paper, pencil. Most students are going to be quick to just say, I'm just going to add these 2 together, but we're going to notice that although that strategy is great, it does involve regrouping, and the regrouping works a little bit differently. So if students are not real comfortable with adjusting their final answers and knowing how to regroup, then that's not going to be a great strategy. So let's take a look at counting on chunks of time first. So I think sort of think about this as sort of like kind of like a timeline or a linear timeline throughout the day. So if we're starting at 9:45 a.m. and something's going to last for 2 hours and 25 minutes. So I'm going to count on chunks of time. I'm going to count on 2 hours. If I count on 2 hours, that's going to put me at 11:45 a.m. Okay, and I'm going to count on 25 more minutes. Well, I know my time after 11:45, my next kind of benchmark of time is going to be the next hour. The next hour, 12 o'clock, is only 15 minutes away. So I'm going to do 15 minutes to get me to 12 o'clock. I need to go a total of 25 minutes. So it's going to be another 10 more minutes. That'll put me at 12:10. So the total amount of time that I've jumped has been 2 hours and 25 minutes, which is what it says here. The time I started was 9:45, and the time I finished is going to be 12:10. And that's going to be a PM. Okay? Some students will want to add this on vertically as well, and that's fine. If you want to do 9:45 and add on 2 hours, that'll put you 11:45. You can add on 15 more minutes, that'll put you at 12 o'clock, and add on another 10 minutes to put you at that 12:10. So this is adding on 2 hours and 25 minutes also. So either one of those are kind of the same version of counting on chunks of time. Okay, now this looks a whole lot easier. Just taking 9:45 and adding it all kind of in one step, adding on 2 hours and 25 minutes. But here's the problem. When you just straight add it, you're going to get 1170. 1170 does not look like this time 1210. Okay, that's because when I'm adding on these minutes, it disregarded the fact that it went over an hour. 60 minutes are in an hour, so I'm going to have to regroup my final answer. If I can look at that and say, well, I know that 60 minutes or an hour, that's an extra 10 minutes in the hour. So much like we did with adding mixed numbers, when your total goes over the whole, you kind of look at that fraction greater than 1. This is time greater than 1. This is a number of minutes greater than an hour. So this is going to bump up to the next hour. Take 60 minutes out of this. That'll leave me with 10 minutes left over, so 12:10. So same answer. This looks a whole lot easier on paper. You just have to make sure you really know how to do this. And if you don't, that's okay. You can count on chunks of time too. We're only going to spend a couple days on elapsed time this year, and so we don't have a whole lot of time to practice using both strategies. So students are just going to pick one that they feel best with. They have to be one that they're able to work with and solve the problem for. All right, here's where we're looking for starting time. So this time I know my soccer practice ends at 6:15. So this means I'm going back in time in the day. I'm going to go back 1 hour and 45 minutes. So I'm going to jump back my one chunk of time. I'm going to jump back an hour. That will put me at 5:15. I still need to go 45 minutes. 5:15 going back 45 minutes. If I jump back 15 minutes, that will put me at 5 o'clock. I need to jump back a total of 45 minutes. So I need 30 more minutes back. 30 minutes before 5 o'clock is 4:30. So I do have to have some sort of good number sense here, so I'm not counting by, fives at a time. So I started at 6:15. I'm sorry, I ended at 6:15. My start time It's actually 4:30 p.m. Let's take a look at how this looks when we're doing a subtraction here. This time we're going back in time, so where we added before, we're going to subtract here. 6:15 minus 1:45. Okay, here's where it gets a little bit more complicated. 15 minus 45, can't do. We're going to have to do some regrouping here. So, regrouping looks different when it comes to time. We've been saying take 1, give 10 for much of the year when we're working with whole numbers. But as we've been working with fractions and also some of our mixed measures last week, 1 whole is not 10 or 100 here. In this case, taking away an hour is worth 60 minutes. So I'm going to take 1, give an hour. I'm going to take 1, give 60. So 60 plus 15 actually gives me 75 minutes. So 75 minus 45 is 30. 5 minus 1 is 4. So as long as you know how to correctly do the regrouping, it's very easy, very quick. Get you that same answer, 4:30 p.m. If you don't regroup properly, it doesn't matter how easy it is to do the subtraction, you're not going to get the right answer, so you got to be careful there. All right, the next kind of problem is finding an elapsed time, how much time has passed. So we went to a friend's house at 2:30, Mom picked up at 5:20, how much time was that? All right, so starting at 2:30, we want to get to 5:20. All right, so, and I kind of know I'm going to 5:20, but I'm just going to kind of count on chunks of time here. So I'm going to go 2:30, 3:30, 4:30. I don't want to go all the way to 5:30, so that took me 1 hour to get to 3:30. Took me another hour to get to 4:30. I need to go to 5:20. I'm going to count on 30 minutes, which will get me to 5 o'clock. And I need to go to 5:20, so I'm going to count on another 20 minutes to get to 5:20. So here's my starting time, here's my ending time. How much time passed? 2 hours. And 30 plus 20 is 50 minutes. All right, so how does that look with the regrouping strategy? Well, are we adding or subtracting? To find the ending time, we count on. To find the starting time, we count back. To find the elapsed time, we're looking for the difference in time between the two. Difference is always subtraction. So we'll do 5:20, the ending time minus the starting time, minus 2:30. Okay, again, please don't tell me 20 minus 30 is 10. You can't do 20 minus 30. This involves regrouping. So do not use this strategy unless you're prepared to properly regroup. The problem is students recognize this as a quicker, easier strategy, and they want to do it without being aware of the difference in regrouping. So we're going to take 1, give an hour. Take 1, give 60. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to add 60 minutes to what I have here. 20 plus 60 is 80 minutes, and now I can subtract. 80 minus 30 is 50, and 4 minus 2 is 2. Okay, this is not a time of day. This is not 2:50 in the afternoon. This is 2 hours and 50 minutes. Okay? Again, it looks really easy. It looks a lot quicker, a lot less complicated than this. There's not as much to keep track of. You just have to regroup properly. All right, here's another one. This one's going to be a little bit more challenging, and we'll talk about why in just a second. So this is airplane leaves Tampa at 11:40 a.m. and arrives in New York City at 2:15 p.m. The question is how much time has passed, how long was the airplane flight? Students are going to hopefully recognize elapsed time as subtraction like we just did. We're going back in time. The problem is if students want to use subtraction, especially as a regrouping strategy, they're going to want to put the bigger number on top, and they think 11 is the bigger number, but it's not. The later time in the day is actually the bigger time, so you're actually putting 2:15 first and subtracting from 11:40. Okay, that's going to be a problem, so we're going to talk about that in just a second. All right, so let's count on. So if I started at 11:40, I'm going to count on to 2:15. So it's going to take me 20 minutes to get to 12 o'clock. I can count on 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Okay, this is an hour. This is another hour. And I'm going to go to 2:15. It's going to be 15 minutes. Okay, so how much time is that? 2 hours and 20 plus 15 is 35 minutes. Okay, not too difficult. Count it on chunks of time. You could also count backwards, but it seems a whole lot easier to count forward than it is to count backwards. All right, now the regrouping for students who just have to do it this way. Can't do 15 minus 40 and can't do 2 minus 11. Some students say, well, I'll just put the 11 on the top. That'll solve all my problems. And I can regroup. I'll have the bigger numbers on top. You can't do that. This is a later time in the day. So now is when we need to think a little bit about military time. We've gone over 12. So if I'm counting on time, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, it's really 2 hours past 12. So I need to rethink this as really being like 14 o'clock, thinking about it as a 24-hour clock. And now I can do 14 minus 11, but I still can't do 15 minus 40. This is going to involve some regrouping also. So I'm going to take 1, give 60. 60 plus 15, that's 75. 75 minus 40 is 35, and 13 minus 11 is 2. Again, that's not a time of day. It's not 2:35 p.m. It's 2 hours, 35 minutes. All right, same answer 2 different ways. This is a lot more opportunities to make mistakes with your regrouping if you're not careful, if you don't know how to do that 24-hour clock, and if you don't regroup the 60 minutes properly. This might just be an easier strategy for that one, especially anytime there's an AM to PM switch. That's when that happens. You gotta be really careful about the AM to PM. That's when the 24-hour clock comes in play, and that's when the smaller number kind of needs to go on the top, usually. All right, one more thing, and this will be the last bit of, I call it measurement problem solving, is involving money. All right, this is really just kind of addition, subtraction, a little bit of multiplication and division, possibly. First question is, I bought 3 notebooks at $1.75 each. How much money would I get back from a $10 bill? So how much change am I going to get back? Okay, so $1.75. We worked with decimals a little bit. We worked with money. We didn't do a whole lot of problem solving with money. Students could add up $1.75 3 times. That's certainly a strategy. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. This is going to be real quick, but I want students to understand that when you multiply with amounts of money, it works the same way as just multiplying with whole numbers. You can't do regrouping here. So 5 times 3 is 15. It's 22. So 525, it's not 525, though, this is involving amounts of money. It becomes $5.25. Again, you can add it up this way. I think it's a whole lot quicker to do it that way. Now, how much change are you going to get back from a $10 bill? The importance here is looking at $10 bill and saying if I'm going to subtract that, it's not 10 minus 525. That doesn't work. I can't make it look like that. I need to think about this as being $10.00 minus $5.25. And we're just going to regroup like normal. So I can't do my zeros here. I'm come all the way over here. 10 becomes a 9, so this can become a 10. This becomes a 9, so this can become a 10. 10 minus 5, 75. $4.75. Okay, so how much change is left after we bought 3 notebooks? All right, here's another one. I saved $14.50 one week and $8.75 another week. How much more will I need to save to buy a $30 video game? $14.50 plus $8.75 saved. Again, when we worked with money before in decimals, we weren't working with really adding or subtracting them, other than just sort of counting simple coins. 8, 5, 13. All right, so we've got $23.25. How much more will I need till I get to a $30 video game? $30.00 minus $23.25. You could do it that way, much like time. You could also count up too. If you wanted to add up 75 cents to get you to the next dollar, that's $24, and then you'd have $6 more. So quick way to sort of count on. If you say, nope, I'm going to do the regrouping, that's fine. You got to regroup across these zeros. 10 becomes a 9. This 10 becomes a 9. And 10. 5, 7, 6. Okay, so conceptually sort of counting on or using regrouping. All right, and last one. This one is a little bit different. You might have one of these questions on the entire FSA. 4 friends share a pizza that costs $9. How much will each friend pay? This is really a division problem. Or 4 times some amount equals to 9. 9 divided by 4 friends. Okay, problem? You're gonna get a remainder. This isn't gonna work out. So each friend can spend $2. So 4 times 2 is 8. That's gonna leave me with $1 left over. I'm gonna split that $1 amongst the 4 friends. Thinking about $1, $1 is equal to 100 cents. So 100 divided by 4, it's going to be a quarter for each person. So $2.25. So split your dollars and then split your change that's left over. All right, so just a few kind of addition, subtraction, multiplication involving money to go along with our elapsed time. So area and perimeter, elapsed time, and money all in our final test for the year. Kind of a lot of stuff, kind of crammed into 2 weeks, but this will take us up to our final push and review for the FSA test. You guys have done a great job all year. I appreciate everybody's time in watching these videos and working with your children at home. I appreciate all the positive feedback on the videos, and again, thank you so much for all the support that you've helped out and known about what we've been doing in class and helping your kids study for their test and review their test. It's made a big difference. All right, have a good one. Bye-bye.